Hi, Southside. This is Pastor Dwayne, and I just wanted to welcome you tonight to Celebrating Good News. I recently had a conversation with Patrick Riddick. Patrick Riddick is a choir master, and he has released some CDs with his group, and he puts big choirs together. And this was profiled in the new Netflix show, Voices of Fire. He's on there with some other people, including Pharrell Williams, who is an R&B singer. But the whole purpose of this show is to put a choir together. So I just recently had the opportunity to talk to him about my love for choir music and what choirs bring to a church. Of course, right now, we can't put a choir together. We would love to have one for Christmas. We are going to have a Christmas program December 20th. Mark it, 9 and 11 a.m., and it will be safe. It will not be shoulder-to-shoulder choirs, but we love shoulder-to-shoulder choirs when the virus is not with us, and that's what I talked to Pastor Riddick about here for a while. If you've seen the show, you'll be inspired, but hopefully you'll be inspired by our conversation too. Just remember, we love you. And we look forward to seeing you Sunday morning at 9 or 11. And then we'll have a whole new week of ministry next week. God bless.
How you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing well in yourself.
Good, good. Hey, I'm a fan of choir music, so I've been watching this show and really enjoying seeing the choir come together.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
so I was pretty excited to talk to you because you're a choir master as far as what they're saying there. So tell me a little bit about when you got the call or when you were approached to be a part of this program.
Yeah, I was at work. I work at Norfolk State University, and I was working, and Bishop Williams gave me a call, and it's just like, hey, Pat, I got this idea. I ran it by Pharrell, and I was just really just trying to put together a choir. He said, but nephew, he's larger than life. He has some other things he wants to do. He said, so what do you think about some kind of choir competition where it's like a making of the band except for a gospel choir? And he said, we really want you to be on the panel of judges. And I said, okay, sure. And then we had another meeting. It's like, yeah, I think I want you to do the director too. You handle the music. And because they're family friends, I've been knowing them probably since I was maybe 6 or 7. It was easy, yes. It wasn't hard at all. I just had no idea that it was going to become this huge. It's just like, wow. I literally remember that conversation. I told him yes. I hung the phone up, and as far as I'm concerned, it was a done deal. But here we are now.
Wow, wow. I'll tell you how much I love choirs. 10, 11 years ago, Disney did a choir competition at Epcot. I don't know if you were aware of that. Were you a part of that?
No, I was not, but I did hear about it.
Okay. They flew us down, me and my wife, and we watched. We were part of the press, and they had the judges and everything. And it was like one of the best days ever. I haven't seen them do it again, but every year I'm like, oh, I would love for them to bring
Please
that
do.
back
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was so good. And the choir that won just blew us away. I mean, I'd love to see what's it like to look and see find potential in people as they are auditioning. I know there was a lot of talk about are we looking for potential or are we looking for the final package? Where do you land on that?
For this endeavor, we were looking more for. I know I was looking for the total final package.
Yeah.
And it had to be that way simply because the competition, the caliber of those singers,
right,
was already so, it was either you just really killed or you just could not. And I mean, the scores, we were having a lot of scores where they were 99s and 98s. So everybody was really close. So in order to get in, you really had to be the total package. It was not about, oh, we could work with you. Because those people that we could just work with were already way behind all the bigger number of
Right.
people that were just amazing. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Tell me some of your bright spots of filming it.
Um, I would say the bright spot. My dog is trying to. Would you get me so spoiled? My bright spots would have to be learning of the various stories and showing those singers how to take their stories and let it go into their music and then come back out to bless their audience. And a lot of them didn't understand. A lot of them were great singers technically, but they lacked what we like to call the soul, the heart and soul of the music. And
Right.
I explained to them that really all it is you just taking what's on the inside and letting it come out through your music. Then you sung with your soul, and they would get it. And I watched them, they would go from just singing regularly like they know, and then next, there may be a tear coming out of it. And I'm like, that's it. Give me more, give me more. And they'll call me now. They'll say, hey, Pat, I was doing this, I was doing that, and I did what you told me. And man, I had a great time. I mean, even small things where they might be out with their friends and they're just doing a karaoke night somewhere. But they employed those same tactics, and to see that they're blessed by it and they're able to experience other opportunities through what they were taught being with us is just, for me, that's the total bright spot.
Right. Yeah. And I know in the first episode you talk a little bit about your background, how you wanted to do R&B beginning, but you realized you had more of a gospel voice. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was born in the 70s and grew up in the 80s and 90s. And
Me too.
yeah, so I loved, in particular, I loved a lot of soul. Anything like a Peabo Bryson and, of course, Aretha Franklin's. I love Michael McDonald, all those singers. And I thought I wanted to do some of that. But when I listened to my voice and I knew what I was feeling on the inside, I knew that wasn't my area. And sometimes people miss out on a lot when they put themselves in places that they shouldn't be. Because if they had put themselves in the place that they should be, it would help them. So I really feel like perhaps I could have chased the dream of R&B or what have you, but then I would have missed today. I would have missed today. So it's just one of those things you just have to know. And part of that comes with a connection with God. He said, if he'll direct your path, he'll order your steps. Knowledge in all our ways. And so that's what I had to learn to do as a kid.
Yeah, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And sometimes people interpret that give is actually he will place the desire in your heart.
Yes.
Rather than just giving you something you want, he will make you want what you're called to do.
That was so good. Yeah. That was so good. Yes.
Yeah. There's something special about a choir. Let's talk about the choir versus an individual singer, and some churches have moved away from choirs, we know, and the choir's not like in the big heyday. That's why I'm glad about things like this, about, Voices of Fire coming out, things that bring it back to prominence. So what is special about a group of people singing the same thing that's different than just an individual singer?
I like to liken it to the scripture. One can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000, which is to say that in fellowship, in unity and in numbers, there's strength, there's power, there's something about corporate worship. I pray and I worship when I'm at home by myself all the time, but there's something about when I'm able to get around the saints or a couple of other friends and we're able to pray together and we're able to worship and praise together. It's the magnitude of it. It's almost like God responds. It's like, hey, I hear my people. So when it comes to singing, there are the solo artists and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like sometimes that really sends off the message of me. Right. But when you get in a choir or a small ensemble or even a group, it says we and not me. And it keeps one person from wanting to be such as Lucifer and getting the glory. It focuses all the glory on God. And not only that, just in a practical sense, choirs are a training ground. the best soloists, the best groups came out of a choir. That's where they learn how to blend and harmonize.
Right.
And really sing, and taking those out of the church has really hurt us, because there are whole generations now. For me, coming up, the choir is what made me interested in going to church. If my mom wanted to punish me, she would say, "You're not going to choir rehearsal tonight," and or "You're not going to revival tonight," because at the revival, I knew the choir was going to sing, and I wanted to sing in the choir. My friends were there. We loved to make music. I wanted to play my tambourine. I wanted to do all of that. And now, it's not there. The kids are not as interested in church, and if they are, they've lost that art of singing.
Right.
It's vital. It's got to come back. It's got to remain.
Well, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna ask you one more question. I don't know how much time you have, but I'll wrap it up for you. I think it's significant that Netflix is giving a platform for this. How do you feel? Because this is a gospel thing. This is about Christian worship. How cool is it that a platform like Netflix is giving a spotlight to that?
I think it is the most amazing thing, because it is no secret when it comes to this kind of music and the religious world. A lot of times you have to water down, or you have to dramatize it to make it be something else. But the fact that they've allowed us to be our authentic selves, and have allowed God to be God and who he is in us through the show, it's a dream come true. It is a dream come true. They didn't tell us once that we couldn't say this or we couldn't do this. I mean, they were in it. And you're talking people that didn't necessarily go to church or really didn't know a lot about God. I'm not going to say that they were even atheistic. They just didn't know.
Right.
And as a result of being on the production team or being on the camera crew or whatever, even some of the singers, they've come to know God and develop these relationships and even have experienced his grace in the room through worship when we were singing and stuff. And it's all because Netflix granted this opportunity and decided to work with Pharrell. It's just, my mind is blown. My mind is really blown.
Well, great. Hey, I would love it sometime when all the restrictions lift and we're all kind of back to normal, to be in service with you, to be there with your choir sometime. I love to hear a really good choir, and there's nothing like it. So appreciate what you do. Appreciate the show. And I look forward to maybe seeing you sometime in person.
Real soon. I believe it's going to happen. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. God bless.
Bless you.